Hello folks, welcome back to my second episode of Ancient Domains of Mystery. And don't worry, I will be chopping through the introduction as quickly as possible. Um, Seems like this character, if you want to read it, just click pause, but all I'm going to do is I'm just going to be, only thing, I'm just going to be chopping through this. Going to make myself an elementalist, random, Going to make myself careful. I found that every character that I make, if I actually make them as impervious as possible near the start, it actually works very well to my benefit. What did I equip? Oh, dagger. Okay. No, I'm just chopping through this as quickly as possible because if you watched episode 1, you'll know how the game works and how character creation goes. And it's the same. You get asked the same-ish questions, and you're expected to answer them as, well, expected to answer them as how you would please. How much gold have I got? I mean, if you want to make a very adequate character that focuses on melee combat and has very little remorse, and you want to be chaotic, then you make sure you do as evil deeds as possible. If you want to make a very good and lawful character, you'll pick the very good answers to those questions. I mean, it's a very simple. If you want to be a good character, do good things. If you want to be a bad character, do bad things. If you want to be neutral, try your best to pick a neutral path. From what I can tell, being neutral and lawful in this game is very difficult. Chaos is easy. You just kill everyone, break the rules. Specifically, do not kill people in the starting village. That's bad for your health. It's bad for their health as well. What I'm going to do is I just went to the Infinite Dungeon. Infinite Dungeon has, well, every level is randomly generated. I mean, I'll actually show you, right? This is level 1. I'll show you with the mouse. The I1, Infinity 1. I'm sure there's only limited levels, but what happens is, I'll show you exactly what happens. I'm going down to level 2. Oh. Wait for a second. And I'll fry him. But what happens if I go up is you'll think, okay, you'll have the map to the previous area. Wrong. It is a newly generated area. I'll take that medium shield. And it's a fantastic place to grind for your first few levels. I've learned this through practice. Usually I try and do the first quest. And I get reasonably far, but there's only so much you can do before it's, Usually I get down to meet the carpenter, and escorting the carpenter up to the healer, because I want to try and make any chaotic character lawful or such. And in the process of escorting the carpenter to the healer, I usually get killed, because he'll either critical hit my head and make it explode, or he'll very slowly attrition me down, or there'll be other monsters in the way that just makes life a lot difficult. I apologize now if you hear a cat meowing in the background. I have 2 cats, a very, very young kitten, and a very older cat. He's about 8 years old, and the kitten's about 6 months. If you could hear quite in the background, they're currently fighting each other. I might pause the recording briefly to open a window to let them out, or to let them out of the room, but if anyone here is a cat owner, you know how difficult it is to stop a cat from entering the room. They'll scratch the door, they'll meow their head off, so it's just best for a recording just to let them wander around. Anyway, what I've done is I've leveled up. Hurrah! My first Adom video where I successfully leveled. Usually I try to pick healing, which passively increases the health that you regenerate when you move around. For example, if I go punched and lose 5 health points, the higher my healing, the more often I heal passively. The natural healing. Also, I think it impacts how quickly you beat off poison. Concentration just helps you regenerate your power points, which, to be honest, is very good, especially if you're a spellcaster with a lot of spells. One other thing that I've noticed is spellcasters are fantastic in the early game. Absolutely fantastic. If you get a room of tension, which is a room with level again. As I said, I'm trying to avoid casting spells because at level 1, you only have, say, 20 spell points, or if you're very lucky, usually you'll have about 10. Um, but what the spell points will do is you'll only have enough to cast one, maybe two spells, and you'll need to dance around for about 10 minutes, just running in circles until you develop enough extra points to cast again. So it's a kind of fine balance. It's good for like level 2 to maybe level 10, but after that you'll notice that the experience you need to level up and how many times you can cast a spell stays pretty much the same. You will gain some benefits. Excuse me. But no, oh, I got a talent. This is fantastic. I like talents because they help give me these passive bonuses. If you want to look through them all, you can pause it and you can have a look. I'm just gonna have a look for some of my favorite ones to get. I like to get 2% more experience, but I look at that and think, well, that's a waste of a talent. If I get to like level 50, which is the max level, then I've got a talent that's pointless from there. I'd much rather have a talent which is which will benefit me until then. However, I've never reached level 50, but I might. I want to, so I'm gonna pick Potent Aura. Oh, you're hearing a kitten. Be right back. I'm just gonna pause it briefly while I let the kid. My apologies for that. I said if a cat wants something done, either do it then, or they're gonna make your life misery. Gonna eat an apple. I don't think people appreciate that I just done that because there are some foods that will go off and some foods that don't. And I've noticed, like, if I pick up a corpse. Actually, that didn't hurt. I only lost 2 hit points for that. Usually, explosions are very dangerous. Entity of malevolent. Huh. Ooh, what's that? Oh, I can kill that. Maybe I can't. I'll just burn it to fire. Sorry, I've lost track of what I was saying. Be careful when you equip clothes. Sometimes they're cursed, and one of the only ways to be able to tell if they're cursed is through Skulls of Curse detection. And I do believe that if oh, I'm bleeding. Shit. Please don't die. Please don't die. Fuck. Sorry. What happens is you have some skills. I forget I'm not in a time rush game. What you saw just there was I was bleeding. And you bleed, your blood naturally clots up and the bleeding will disappear. But you will still profusely splurge blood out of your body. You don't leave blood trails, but you do lose, I think, 1 and some other number of hit points per turn that you are bleeding, which is very, very dangerous. As you can see, that lizard man fight was very dangerous. I should have cast a spell, but I want to keep as much of my spell points as possible. As you can see, this is the spell, my spell book, or memorized spells. The first one is Burning Hands. I have 168 things to cast. I don't have 168 casts because sometimes a spell will take like 2 or 3 of that, so I might only have like a third that amount of spells. How many power points it will consume? The power plus, that means that's how much damage. No, sorry, that's what level it is. That's, it's +2. Range is how far you can range to hit it, so I can hit anything 1 square around me. And this is the damage. It's a 3-sided die +5. So, the most damage that I will be able to do is 9 + 5, which is 14. And the least amount of damage I can do is 3 + 5, which is 8. Oh wow, we're learning here. We're learning maths. Frost Bolt, this one's slightly more different. You'll see 4d6 plus R. And this took me a while to figure out that R actually means the range. So the closer it is to an enemy, the more damage it will do. Thus, for example, if an enemy is closer to me, it will take 5 damage. If the enemy is 5 spaces away from me, it will take +1 damage. As you use these spells, they will level up themselves and you get more proficient and more efficient. It will take less of this. You'll get more per level of these. Every level this will increase. I'm not too sure if it increases to the maximum or it just increases by a chunk. I've still to master that, but I just know it gains so much per level. Whether if it's a high level spell it gains more, I don't know. I've not tested this out exhaustively. I just know that as a spell gets more powerful, it consumes less PP, power points, and it will do more damage. To me, that's the good things. Unfortunately, as you reach higher levels and the experience to go up, the experience to level up goes up higher and higher. But just to expel, if you are curious how to play this game and you've just started, one of the vital keys to remember, just so you get to know, because this is actually something that helped me out when I started out, is question mark. It says online help, but what happens is if I just hit K, it'll give me a list of all the key bindings. And at the bottom you'll see page down, page up, so it gives you an idea of how to quickly browse through them all. There are some things, like for example, if you get mud thrown at your face, some rooms you'll just wander in and mud will slap your face. And you actually need to wipe your face to get rid of it, or you're blind. And it's not permanent, but you need to wipe your face, or you're just going to get attacked repeatedly. There are other things like blinding flashes, which can blind you temporarily. I have read and heard that there are unfortunate ways that you could be blinded permanently. I don't think my character would live very long from that. Oh, God. Oh, I did not notice how low my HP was. Too busy talking, not paying attention as much. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be focusing on casting as many spells as possible and level up. I do believe leveling up brings your HP back to the maximum, which is, to me, is a fantastic thing to happen. Especially as I'm going to be quite distracted. As you'll see, I'm focusing on getting my healing and my... Oh, no, I'm wrong. It doesn't increase your healing. It just increases it by how much you gained for that level. As you could think, I think I was about 2 HP, but I gained 8 from leveling up, thus I'm up at 10. As you can see, if you remember, there in my Burning Hands, it has increased how much points it has. It's gone from, I think it was 160 to 234, which to me is absolutely fantastic. More chances to cast a spell is always good in my books. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be casting it a lot. I'm going to put on some armor. Hopefully it's not... oh, it's actually quite a bad bit of armor. I'm quite bad at this. I don't check for cursed, and I hope it's not cursed. So what I'll do is I'll just throw on any old armor. This room, what you can see is there's no doors, but there's no stair up. There's a hidden door somewhere along here, but it's far too much effort. Especially because you're in an infinite dungeon. You can just very quickly... Oh dear. Since imminent danger, I believe, is a monster far too high level has spawned in this floor of the dungeon. It could be anything between a dragon to Lich Lord to karmic lizards. They are very, very dangerous monsters, especially if you're such a low level that you don't stand a chance. These creatures will just sort of blink in your direction, you'll explode into giblets. But one thing that upsets me is the amount of food this character can take to eat. In some cases, he just consumes constantly. In a single game day, you can eat something like several corpses of food. And if you think a corpse has got quite a considerable amount of food on it. Ooh, a broadsword. I think I shall be equipping that. E? 1d7 plus 1. Ah, that's a lot better than my dagger, which I'll show you, which is 1d4. And as you could imagine, a 1d7 plus 1, which is quite a nice bonus, will do a minimum of 2 damage and a maximum of 8 damage, I believe, which is, in my views, much more beneficial than a tiny little skimpy dagger. Also, as you use your weapons more and more and more, you became very proficient in them, and you'll actually do better. You'll have more chance to hit, more chance of critical hits on enemies, and I think you do more damage. You can't, maybe, possible, not too sure. And this is it for part 1. I will continue this as episode 2-1. I will see you then.